Welcome in to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. I am your host, Josh Barnett. We are brought to you by Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield Leagues, the best place to watch the game next weekend, live and loud on the big screen when we take on the Cowboys, but a bye weekend. So give yourself a break from footy this weekend, possibly. There are obviously other NRL games on, but to be honest, a little bit of a break from the West Tigers and a reset, and then get back to hopefully maybe the boys can put an upset on the Cowboys next week. Also, please give us a follow at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, it's in the 900s now, so yeah, we're trying to put a bit of content, bit more content on there now. And Twitter as well. Please give us a follow there if you're on those, and you'll find our link tree links in those profiles that will lead you to absolutely everything that we do, including our Patreon, patreon.com/WestsLife. If you'd like to take part and support the show, the boys and girls have got some questions for us later in this episode. And shouts to the ones on YouTube on a Thursday night, on a bye week, watching us live right now. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, or if you're even listening back to this later, please go to our YouTube and give it a like and a subscribe. Share with your mates. That we really appreciate it. And yeah, so the ones joining in live tonight on a bye round without a preview to talk about, we really appreciate you. You are absolute real ones, especially after the depressing result of the State of Origin last night. So the girls are playing at the moment, so maybe the girls can get a bit of revenge against the Queenslander. Not looking good so far as we record this, but as our NRLW correspondent, at least we've got the girls' NRLW season incoming to look forward to soon as well.
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day everyone listening. Yeah, absolutely. I'm extremely hyped for the women's season. I think there's a lot of positivity amongst the group, the playing group. There's been, like, the club has had chats recently with Noddy on the Behind the Raw podcast, and they also had interviews with Sarah and Kezi in New South Wales camp this week. So yeah, there's a lot of optimism and good feelings amongst the girls. And yeah, I'm excited for their season to start in conjunction with round 21 of the men's season. So that's 4 weeks away now, I think, thereabouts.
Okay. Just say Kathy listening in from Cinqueterra. Means five ports, I believe. Cinque is 5, and so Cinque, yeah, 5. Yeah. So yeah, shouts. Hey, I know so many people in Italy, or at least have gone to Italy. I know a friend of the show, Joe Alafacci's just gotten back from Italy, so I'm heading overseas next week as well. Mr. Bashara coming in a red shirt in the red room, all red. I mean, now that I think about it, it's a maroon room that you've got behind you. But yeah, how are you on this Thursday evening on a bye week?
Yeah, g'day boys, g'day everyone. Just trying to relax a little bit and unwind, and probably have a bit of a bye weekend myself. Try and de-stress from our woes at the West Tigers, and yeah, just relax and not get too worked up like I might have a couple of nights ago.
Yep, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's no. I don't think there's any F1, or there's basically basketball's obviously finished, and I don't know, I'll spend time with the family maybe. Right, shouts to our friends at West Ashfield. So if you looking for a place to watch the game, obviously we're playing up in Townsville next week, so they are doing a special where you can get a $4.80 tap beer and half price pizzas between kickoff and half time. The Ambush West Tigers group, they're giving away fantastic prizes, and hopefully we'll have special appearances by West Tigers guests from 4:30 p.m. For more information, visit holmanbarnesgroup.com.au. Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. So yeah, get along to a Holman Barnes Group venue, and yeah, West Ashfield, big screen, great pizzas. Absolutely love the pizzas there. Right, especially speaking of West Tigers champions, Our guy Stefano Utoikamanu made his New South Wales Blues debut last night. He got a total of, what was it, as 12 minutes?
14 minutes.
14 minutes. Sorry, I've cut him short. But look, I don't know why. I mean, there were so many questions over what the fuck Brad Fittler was thinking last night, leading into it and during this game. But Steph getting several minutes before. So he came on like 7 minutes ago in the first half, and then got a handful of minutes in the second half. Is that?
Yeah.
I didn't see him. I didn't even realize he went off. I was watching the second half. I'm like, where's Steph? Like, why is he not there? He was already gone.
The only reason I bothered watching the game too. I only watched the game because I wanted to support him, and then he went off early, and I was like, well, I might as well switch the game off now too.
Look, I like Origin. I've come to the conclusion that the whole thing about Queensland, that we don't get it down here. The whole emotional attachment for me is not so much New South Wales winning; it's Queensland not winning. I think that's kind of my view on Origin now, and look, they're probably right. The Queenslanders, they do want it more. If you gave me the option of the West Tigers beating Parramatta or New South Wales Blues beating Queensland, I'm taking West Tigers beating Parramatta. Like anytime. My emotional attachment comparisons between the West Tigers and New South Wales Blues are incomparable. I don't know about you boys, but whereas I think the Queenslanders, I don't know, they got that whole us versus them, and yeah, it's look, sure, they get it a little bit more. It's also I find it very difficult to support a team dominated by a Panthers team that I can't stand as well, sprinkled with a few Roosters and Parramatta Eels players. Like you said, I wouldn't say I watched the game purely. I do still want the Blues to win purely because I'm a proud New South Wales Welshman. But
I said I said on Twitter yesterday, having a debate with someone else about Queensland's first try, that I honestly couldn't give a shit about the result at the moment, especially with the way we're forced to watch on Channel 9, where they've got one of the Queensland coaching staff in the commentary box. Like, how much more biased do you want to be? The New South Wales coach, hopefully, who's outgoing, works with Channel 9 and focuses a lot more on that than he should on actually being the coach of the team. Like, he does all his weekly shows and stuff, and he still does like the sideline work with Channel 9, like pre-series and during the series. And I just think it's ridiculous that the Origin coach isn't focusing all his energy onto coaching the team. And then, like you said, Josh, a lot of his selections being Panthers kind of makes it a little bit harder to watch, just because we don't really like the Panthers all that much at the moment. But there's definite bias against the Tigers, dodgy bench rotations. I just don't see any reason to get excited about Origin at the moment, particularly in the men's game.
Speaking of bias against the Tigers, I don't know if anyone caught, someone did show us, I did share it on Twitter, on our WestsLife Pod Twitter today. James Hooper, in his player ratings, basically said Steph should never have been picked, and he's just a West Tigers forward. And it's just like, you absolute like condescending asshole. Yeah, it's just like basically stating just because he plays for the West Tigers that he shouldn't play for the Blues. Like, Stefano, whether you like it or not, he's been one of the best front rowers despite being in a losing team. And I did notice in the commentary too, they mentioned his losing record. It's like, if he's playing in a shit team, like, it doesn't mean, like, it's just, I don't know. Seems like there's a bit of a
good
bias.
Good players can be playing in shit teams. Like, look at Ben Hunt. He's single-handedly resurrected the Dragons and helped them avoid the spoon for probably 3-ish years now. And he's one of the key parts of that Queensland team. So it's not just us who has a shit player playing, or a player from a shit club playing in Origin. Like, we had Appy in game 1 as well, and Appy would probably have been there in game 2 if it wasn't for Tino and his shenanigans.
Yeah, and Kathy made a good point. What about Appy? He's the best hooker in the world, but because he plays for the West Tigers, does that mean he's not? Anything to add, Rob, on Origin before we move on?
Oh, look, I'm a lot like you. It disrupts the NRL season. I got into it last night, but I'm over it. I don't care. I mean, the
Yeah.
coaching was absolutely diabolical. I've never seen, like everyone was making out about this big switch with the wingers going back from right to left and left to right, and all they were doing were going back to where they play at club level. One thing I do want to say about State of Origin, not that people give a shit, but that last set before half time, I've never seen a worse set of six in rugby league representative football. We literally went one out, one out, one out, and then Robson died with the ball on the last.
Yeah, drive the ball on the last. I yelled at the TV.
I just thought, what's Fittler doing? What's Fittler doing? And look, I'm being honest. I don't think Steph should have been picked myself. I think like someone like Regan Campbell-Gillard should have been there. Even David Clemmer. David Clemmer's our best prop. I'd have Clem there before Steph. No disrespect to Steph. He's going to come back a better player for it. He did nothing wrong. He played well in his 14 minutes. But what's the point of taking a player to play 14 minutes?
Yeah.
You may as well have not had him there at all. This is how bad his bench rotation is. He picked a second rower in game one. Hudson Young played 20 minutes and didn't play the last 60. Back rowers play 80 minutes. And then to put Damien Cook in the centres and him and Brandy trying to justify it, it's actually embarrassing because this isn't Queensland with, Slater and Inglis and Hodges and, Thurston and Cronk and Cam Smith. This is just a butt average Queensland side, a pretty shit pack with a good hooker, good halves, and an up-and-coming young fullback. They're not that much chop. Like, they're not that great. We were down 10-0 in game one, and then we basically dominated the game for the next 60 minutes, had a man extra, and somehow found a way to fucking screw it up. So, like, we dominated for 60 minutes in game one, and then we just made them look like champions last night. They're not that good. It's just so embarrassing that we lost it. We lost it, like, not from the players. We just lost it before, like, on the selection table with the interchanges, as Aaron said. But playing guys for 15, 20 minutes and ruining that bench rotation. Like, you'd never carry a specialist centre on the bench, but you may as well have not played Steph because Steph only got 14 minutes. It was just...
Yeah, Burton would have made more sense.
Just anyone. Like, it's actually really, really sad. Look, it's going to be Freddie's last game, but, I mean, Brandy needs to move on as well because he's not much better. I've got nothing against the Penrith players. If they're the best players, they should be there. But I think Yo and Cam Murray are like for like. So I just don't think you have both of them there as good as they are. All this stuff about combinations, what a crock of shit. Look at Queensland. They got a Brisbane fullback, a Melbourne Storm 5'8", a Manly halfback, North Queensland people. I mean, it's a mix all sorts. So I don't think you need all this combination stuff. Like, just pick the best players and just see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in game 3 because I don't know, they'll probably just try and give New South Wales all the favours, but who's going to show up? Like, surely it's going to affect the crowd numbers.
Oh yeah, they'll be giving away free tickets to companies.
It'll affect TV numbers as well. Like,
how are Queensland $1.80? How are Queensland $1.80? Honestly, they should be $1.30. Like,
New South Wales
get on Queensland now. They're just absolute certainties to win. Like, they've just got no idea, New South Wales. Absolutely no idea how to pick a team. If we picked our best 17, I think we'd win pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I reckon if you work for Lion Nathan or Westpac, you're probably going to get a few emails of free tickets offered to people in your company because they're going to struggle to sell it. They'll start giving them off to sponsors. Shay on YouTube asked the thoughts on the Luai incident. I'm not sure if you're referring to the Instagram incident or the incident where he basically stood over. Who did he stand over? Who was it at the end there?
I think
Reece Walsh.
Reece Walsh. Like, it's just, I don't know.
But that's a carry on from game one as well, Josh. I mean, Reece Walsh, I think, pulled Luai's hair, which is just hilarious to actually say that about two grown men. But
he wears a headgear now, so
yeah, I think a couple of things that just make, I think, are laughable, like 2 blatant headbutts and they just cop a fine. Like, they should be getting suspended for 3 or 4 weeks each. I know it's Origin, but it's
Addo-Carr's punch as well.
Yeah, Addo-Car throws a punch.
Yeah,
it's just,
that'd be like a 3-4 week suspension in Clubland.
Yeah, anyone sending a player a death threat is an absolute goose, and they should be reported and they should be off Instagram or social media or charged or whatever. But I don't care what anyone throws at a celebrity or a player. You just cannot bite back the way Luai bit back. It was just so
Yeah, it
dumb.
was very arrogant. Yeah,
Like, I
and,
mean,
like, out of context.
NBA players cop it. LeBron cops it. They don't go back and answer back with stupid Instagram posts. Or, I mean, some do, but they really get called out for it. So
LeBron's a cheat. Well, he loves a cheesy. Like, he's the master of cheesy posts. But yeah, but nothing. He's usually LeBron's more about the theater of the sport itself. He's that popular that he probably gets that sort of shit.
I don't think we'll see Luai. I don't think we'll see Luai again in Origin for at least 2 or 3 years, if ever. I think he's just hasn't played very well. He's had a couple of good moments. He's good at beating 3 or 4 players back on the inside, but he didn't have any support to make those runs look useful. So I don't know. I thought Moses played pretty well.
I was going to say, call me crazy. I reckon Cleary's still going to be injured for game 3, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe next year I'll go with Cleary. Maybe play Moses at the 6 and with Cleary.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a Cleary fan. Like, he's got the best kicking game and he can nail big moments, and he's a pretty decent defender. But I just say I don't know. I like what Moses does, but I'd have to give him the right 5/8. Whoever that is, whether it's Cody Walker or if they want to experiment and put Nico Hines there, I don't know. But it'd be, if Freddie does care about the future of New South Wales, he really should give a few younger guys a go. And, because the series is over. Teddy's got to stand down. Teddy's not the same player. Love what Teddy's done in the past, but he's a shadow of the player he was 3 or 4 years ago. He's on the downslide.
Benjamin said on YouTube, Luai's the NRL's Ja Morant from the NBA.
He is too.
You see him carrying a weapon on Instagram.
Yeah, good comparison.
Right, Ben Hunt chat. So, of all people, Matt Rogers, fellow Queenslander, went on SEN and he reckons he's got a source that Ben Hunt could go to the Tigers, even though Sheens came out and said we're not allowed to talk to him, and Lee went on SEN and said it's illegal to talk to them. And I don't know, boys. What are your thoughts on this Ben Hunt situation? Has anyone got anything?
He was spoken to after full time yesterday, and he said he wanted to go home to Queensland or something. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to put any rumours to bed or what's going to happen from there, or if he does decide to stick with a New South Wales based team for the right money. But I don't know. I think personally he'd probably go to one of the Queensland teams. He may go to the Dolphins. Yeah.
I mean, you can't. I think if he went to another Sydney club, that would look worse in terms of what he's doing. But if he actually just goes home to Queensland, maybe that he'll get a bit more sympathy, that he just wants to be near his family. I guess you can't really begrudge. There's plenty of players that have wanted to go back to a club near where they're from, and you can't really begrudge them for that, as opposed to just spitting the dummy and going to a crosstown rival.
He kind of is spitting the dummy though, Josh, because he just signed an extension less than a year ago. So, look, I'd love it to be true, but I'm with Aaron. If he says he wants to go to Queensland, it probably is. The fact that the Titans have done a really hush-hush deal to get Des Hasler as coach, perhaps they've done the same thing with Ben Hunt, and Ben Hunt's going up there. So maybe there's a chance of us snagging the Titans half or someone like that, because obviously, players want to play first grade.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of money to offer. But yeah, in a perfect world, Josh, as I said Monday night, we should be so desperate. We should just making it impossible
100%.
for Ben Hunt to turn down an offer and stay even for 2 years. Even if he wants to go back, we'll say, go back to Queensland in 2 years, but we need you for the next couple of years, till we get another halfback. But because he'd be perfect for us. He makes us a top 8 team straight away, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess going back home, he's only going to wait 2 years, and then he'll probably retire.
Yeah,
he can go.
And we've got the money to give him, which is the key thing. We can actually give him overs,
superannuation
dollars if we needed to.
Speaking of Queensland or players playing in Queensland, it's come out that Benji Marshall has reached out to our old friend Jock Madden for coming back to the West Tigers from the Broncos. He's obviously not playing first grade. He's only played a handful of games, 2 or 3 games for the
Two, I think.
Broncos. 2,
I think
yeah,
one.
1. Is it just the one? So yeah, Benji's reached out. What's your thoughts? Would you bring Jock home?
I mean, if we can't get anyone else, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. He knows our systems because he was here for however many years he was here. Played a bit of first grade for us, so knows a lot of the players and would probably slip back into the system quite well. Maybe having Benji here as a coach or in the coaching staff may help his game improve more than, or to playing better than he did, under Madge and things like that. So I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't rule it out. And the halves market at the moment is slim pickings. So, I mean, if we can get him back, maybe might as well give it a go.
What are your thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, pretty much what Aaron said. I mean, it just shows how desperate we are. The fact that, we said, see you later, and now we want you back. And knowing us, we probably have to give him more money to come back, because we are so desperate. But yeah, look, it's a slight upgrade, but probably not the answer to our problems. But I think it just goes to show how poorly we were to let. I mean, look, we let him go while we still had Hastings, so it wasn't the worst thing. But to let Hastings go after letting go of Madden was absolutely stupid. And I think the club's realising that now, and they know they're in a situation and they've got to try and get themselves out of it. So there is literally anyone that says they want to come to the Tigers, I dare say we'd be interested in every single player.
Yeah, he has a better win. He has a better win percentage at the Tigers than he does at the Broncos. He's I've got his
0
profile page up now. Yeah, well, he's 5 wins and 12 losses with us. He's 0 wins and 2 losses for the Broncos.
It's just played 2. Okay, 0-2.
He must have had a game early in the season that I've forgotten about, but I know he played a few weeks ago when Reynolds was out, I think, due to concussion protocol.
I think both of his games were because Reynolds was concussed. It was round 9 against the Rabbits in that one where they got smashed, and then round 12 against the Panthers.
The crazy thing is he was pretty much signed for the Panthers and then decided to go to Brisbane. So he probably would have got, now that Cleary's out, he might have got a crack at the Panthers maybe this year.
Maybe being a Queenslander going to Brisbane might have appealed to him a bit more than Penrith in the end.
No, he's New South Welshman, isn't he?
I mean, the other thing too, we got to remember, like, he's a New South
Wales country boy, isn't he? He played junior in New South Wales. I'm pretty sure. I think you're thinking of Jakey Simpkin.
Yeah, Simpkin's a Queenslander.
Yeah,
maybe that's who I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
Jock played for New South Wales under 18s. I'm pretty sure.
But are we to believe everything that we read in the paper anyway? Maybe Benji hasn't approached him. Maybe they're just making shit up.
Oh, so. Yeah. Take everything we say with the grain of salt, because we're reading from the people that we should be taking from a grain of salt. Latu speaking. Let's talk more about bullshit in the paper. Let's see if this comes true. Latu Fainu from Manly. So, you might recall his older brother is the one that stabbed a Mormon priest. They call it a priest in the Mormon church, Mormon priest, and is in jail. But look, that's obviously his brother, not him. So he was a highly touted young junior, and apparently Manly might have to squeeze him out, not be able to afford to keep him. They haven't even played him in first grade yet, and obviously Manly's basically being linked to anything that Manly doesn't want at the moment, obviously with Scotty Fulton at the West Tigers. So maybe him, and there's also talk his brother Samuela, maybe they'll release him to come with him. So as
we've
any thoughts,
got Sione as well.
That's right. He's in our. Is he playing flag or is he in cup at the moment?
Cup.
Flag, I think.
Is he?
I don't know. One or the other.
He's a prop, isn't he?
We've got the New South Wales Cup team list. We'll see if his name's in that a little bit later.
We'll see if that pops up. But yeah, so I mean, if his brother's here and we've got Scotty Thornton, I mean, it seems like it's pretty likely. So
I honestly don't know much about him. All I know, I don't know what position he plays. All I know is he was given a monster deal by Manly, and that seems to be why they need to move him on.
So we'll see what happens on that one.
Did Fulton give him the monster deal? I mean, this is just like
this is
crazy stuff. The Fulton Tartak connection, and don't forget too that Benji Marshall was managed by Mario Tartak in his latter playing years as well. So there's a bit of a three-way connection there.
There you go. Speaking of connections, our friends at Mobile Corp, so formerly MLC Phones, who sponsored the Tigers back in the mid-90s, they support local businesses by managing their IT, their networks, and their mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who will take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place. Handle all your mobile device needs, then Mobile Corp can help. Mobile Corp is a family-run business and long-time supporter of the West Tigers. Contact our mate Stephen and the team at Mobile Corp. Check it out on mobilecorp.com.au. That's mobilecorp.com.au. Just thought we'd talk about who we'd like to see in the team next week, because who knows what Sheensy will produce come Tuesday. We normally talk about the team list at this point in the show for this weekend's game, but obviously it's a bye. For one, I would like to see Dane Laurie get a go at 6 in the halves. I know he hasn't been lighting the world on fire in Cup, but I mean, I just want to see Dane Laurie get a crack at the 6. We've got nothing to lose. People quickly forget just how good he was playing for us before he got injured. Was it late 2021 that he got injured? When was it? He was out for a while, but I mean, he's proven before that he can be a good spark and attack. I'd like to see him get a crack at 6, and it's better. We don't want to upset any Stafford Toa fans, Rob, like we did again. But
he just didn't make a fist of 5'8". I mean, I get that he made the tackles. I get.
We love Stafford Toa. Yeah, we do love.
I was critical of the coaches to put him there. I wasn't critical of him.
Yeah,
I don't think he played as a true link, and I don't think it was fair on Wakeham to have him as a halves partner. That's all. So I stand by that. I don't know what the big deal is. Like, it's like as if to say that I don't think Stafford Toa is a great player. He's come out of nowhere. He's easily the best centre we've got in the club. But typical Sheen's move. We got a right edge that's going well. Let's put him in. At number 6. So it was just a stupid idea, and it failed. And I know we're thin on numbers in the halves and all that, but what happened to the next man up? Whoever the halves are, whether they're playing shit or not, give them a go. Try someone. Try one of these kids that might be hopeless. You can't do worse than whatever our scoreline was. What was it? 32-6 or something like that. We got nothing to lose.
Is there anyone you'd like to see get a crack at first grade up in Townsville next week?
Might as well give the young centre, O'Reilly. I think
Tristan Riley.
Tristan Riley, yeah.
Tristan Riley. He might be worth a debut, but other than that, I can't really think of too many other players in Cup who'd be knocking on the door, based on form. Maybe bring Matamua back into the side if they think he's the future at 13. Then might as well start playing him again. But I'm still, like I've said a few times, I'm still not too keen on him at the moment until he shows a bit more. But yeah, as for what you said, Josh, I kind of agree. At the moment, the change I'd make is Laurie in, Toa back to centre, and Talau left, right, out.
Yep, I agree with that. Rob, anyone?
Oh, look, firstly, I like we said before, don't want to see Talau and Kapara in the 17. I'd like to see a couple of these younger kids in the forwards play, especially Matamua. Whether he's up to it or not, we've got to give him a go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about Laurie, and I'll probably get my head chewed off for saying this because we shouldn't change a play from a great position, like I just said with Toa. But let's leave Buller at fullback because he's doing a great job there. But Buller would smash 5'8". Like,
if Buller's healthy, he's our number one.
Yeah, I know. But he'd be our best option at 6 at the moment. But you'd just be mad moving from number 1. The guy can tackle. The guy can fan. The guy's got a good step. The guy's got a good passing game. But yeah, let's leave him at number 1 and get him right there. But if you really wanted to put who could handle number 6 best at the moment. In my opinion, it'd be Buller, but he's that talented. He could play in a few different positions.
Yeah. Right, on to your questions. Thank you to everyone who submitted their questions. First up is Kim. So she said, we've kind of just answered this, kind of what I was saying then. We need to do something with our halves. We were told Simkin and Laurie trained there in the off season. Why aren't we using them now? I hear we are chasing Cogger. Would he be a good fit? For me, I think we're all in agreement. So I think we talked a little bit about Cogger possibly Monday. Did we mention Jack Cogger on Monday? I can't remember. It was 3 days ago.
We mentioned it, but not too much. We mentioned that we'd made approaches to his manager or something like that. But
yeah, it doesn't excite me.
No, it's a sideways move for me. I mean, he's 25. He's got an okay attack game, kicking game, but I don't think he's a good defender myself from what I've seen. But I definitely will watch a bit more of him this weekend. They're playing Newcastle, so I will keep my eye on him because I'm sure the Tigers are as well.
As any ideas for you for halfback? We did get a couple of halfback questions. I think our next one, Derek Webber asked, who are we targeting for our halves and why? So it kind of links together. But a few people in the comments have suggested. I saw Ben, one of our Queensland viewers. He said Josh Rogers from Wynnum Manly. He's the best 6 in Queensland Cup and a goal kicker as well. It's pretty funny, that name, because Rogers is my mother's maiden name, and obviously Josh. So that's we might be related. Any ideas?
Maybe sort of left field, but if let's say Ben Hunt was to go to maybe the Titans, if he was, then I think Toby Sexton would be on the outer, and I wouldn't be I wouldn't say no to signing him because I think he's shown a lot of potential in his time for the Titans. So I think that'd be a player there we could target. There's the market for halves at the moment is pure garbage almost. So there's not a lot of options there. And if we can't nail Brooksy down, then it seems like we are probably potentially not going to have like a proper recognised halfback for next year.
Which is crazy because we had too many last year.
Yeah, it's so bad. But what you got to take into account what Sheen said in the press conference. Not that I like hearing what he's got to say too much, but I think the fact that we are so limited for halves options in Australia. The first comment he said is we are looking in England and elsewhere. So they've obviously got their eye on someone in England. It'd be nice, whoever suggested that Queensland Cup kid. I mean, it'd be nice to find I know we're looking for a 7, but if we can get the equivalent of a Cody Walker, like South's got a Cody Walker when he was like 26 or 28 or something like that, and he turned into a star. So look, we got to look everywhere, but that's a good thing. It's up to them to find out. But we should never have been in this position in the first place. We had a great game manager in Jackson Hastings. I'm not saying he's the ants pants, but would have been a perfect foil in the team we've got. So we've screwed ourselves, and we've just got to try and fix it up.
Well, I've heard that both Blake Austin and Aiden Caesar,
took the words out of my mouth,
for Warrington are off contract, so they could be options.
I loved Blake Austin. He was my favourite player.
Blake Austin, my God. How old would he be?
I don't actually know.
Younger than me, I think. I think he's in early 30s.
I'll have to Google it.
Yeah, well, let's have a Google race. Ready?
Well, Aiden Caesar's got a good kicking game, but I mean, he's a pretty shit defender, and
born in 91. Yeah, he's
slower than Jackson Hastings, so I don't know why we'd get Caesar, but and really, I don't think I think Austin's more a 5'8" than a 7.
Both Austin, born in 91, so
33. Yeah,
both 33 next year.
So younger than Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt's my age.
But we know Ben Hunt is doing an elite job at the moment in NRL, so he'd be the number 1 option.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Austin's more of a 6 than a 7.
Yeah.
All right, a question from Lance. I should have had a sip of water before I had this one because it's a big one. He said, "G'day, Rob, Aaron, and Josh. For tonight's podcast, I have a specific question in which I'd appreciate if you address with your individual perspectives. What area within the club do you all consider to be the most responsible for the lack of success that we have endured at the club over a decade now? Would you consider upper management or NRL halves pairing to be the main problem? If management is a concern, how would you personally address the issue? Perhaps removing Pascoe as CEO. I promise we didn't write this. This is actually a listener. We didn't make this one up. Please removing Pascoe as CEO and Hajibin Talas and chairman, and cleaning house with the current board and appointing personnel more suitable for the job in a 50-50 split with Balmain and Western Suburbs board members. If, on the other hand, the halves are the utmost concern, how would you go about addressing this issue? We've kind of already talked about the halves issue. Should the Tigers aim to sign two halves, an experienced one such as Ben Hart and young up-and-coming talent such as Braden Trindle? If we can only manage to sign a junior, would you consider bumping up the offer to keep Luke Brooks as the experienced playmaker? So a few questions in there. So, I mean, Rob, I think the first part, management. I mean, the halves, we had decent halves at the club and we let them go. And who let them go? That's kind of my answer to that one.
Yeah, well, look, from an off-field perspective, I'd say the problem has been attracting players to the club, and the reason I think for that it's been getting worse and worse is upper management and the record, and Justin and Lee. So I think that relates to them. In terms of the football side of things, definitely we've lacked a game manager. Even though Brooks has improved out of sight this year, that's been our biggest issue. We've really lacked a good general, which we got a little bit of relief from last year with Hastings, and that went out the window. But I think it really showed up in our game against Melbourne. And I don't know what's going on at the club right now, but the one thing that I think we're lacking are the right systems in place below first grade. So as I said on Monday, you see with Melbourne Storm, doesn't matter who's injured, guys. The next person that comes into that position knows their role, knows exactly what they've got to do. And I don't feel that's the same with us. We don't have that next person comes in and goes in that spot. We've been playing Sheen's ball and moving positions around, and, Bateman from right to middle, and, Isaiah from left to right edge. And we just keep freaking moving all the pieces around, where Melbourne just, if you're a fullback, you know what your fullback's job is. If you're a winger, you know what the winger does. I just don't feel like that's the case at the Tigers. Even if you look at the New South Wales Cup team, you see even those guys that are never probably going to get a run in first grade, they're just playing in different positions every week in the back line. Like, they're literally not, 1 week someone's fullback, 1 week someone's centre, next week they're on the wing. I just don't think we've got the systems below. So, like I said Monday, I'd really like us to become more like a Melbourne, in the sense of have the right systems beneath. So, and even Penrith to a degree, because when they come into first grade, they look ready-made. They look like they know what they're doing. If you go to Penrith last year, they brought in Taylor May, they brought in Isaiah Targo on left wing, left centre, and they look like they've been playing first grade all their lives. They just knew what was expected from them and how to play. I don't feel like that's the case with the Tigers. I feel like if we debut Tristan Riley, we've got to give him 10 games to get used to being a first grader, where at Penrith, they bring in whoever it is, whether it's Cogger, whether it's who's the 5'8" they bring in, that's Salmon. Like, he seems to be playing pretty well, strong runner of the ball, scores tries. Like, they just all know their role. Even Tyrone Peachey looks like a better player at Penrith. But with us, he looked like shit. So I just think we've got to get our systems and, below right. And maybe they're working on that. Maybe they don't. I'm not within the club. I don't know what they do. But, if you base it on on-field performances, it doesn't look like that's the case. So that's what I'd be changing in terms of the player side of things and the coaching side of things.
What about you?
Well, I agree with pretty much everything Rob said there, but the one thing I'd like to add is, a couple months ago now, I think it might have been, we had that letter sent to us by the outgoing member of the board. I think it was. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the Magpies. Talk about the Magpies.
Talking about the Magpies chairman, Aaron?
Yeah, that's the one. I think so.
Yeah.
And I think he said something about the board, or I think from what we showed, we were able to basically infer that the only way someone can be removed from the board is if they either remove themselves or if they die. So if you've got that system, if that's a system that you've got in place, I I think that's going to set a club up for failure as well, especially if there's no way of keeping those people accountable and they can make whatever decisions they want, and then they think they're doing what's in the best interest of the club and no one's able to remove them, then how are we going to improve in that back end of the club department?
So you're basically saying that our governance is the problem, like the rules and regulations that we have and how you become a member, or, we don't have voting rights, all that sort of stuff.
Pretty much. I think sometimes not necessarily voting rights, but if the governance in particular, when it comes to the board, I think is probably the biggest issue, because like I said, if they're able to make whatever decisions they feel are good for the club, whether they are or not, whether they've got an ounce of footy knowledge or not, if they're making decisions that basically there's no consequence to them for making, then yeah, how are we going to improve?
Righto, moving on to lower grades. So New South Wales Cup, they are playing, and both our flags, so they're both playing Lickham Oval on Saturday afternoon. So New South Wales Cup are at 2 o'clock and flag are at 12. So I thought Cup might have had a few more first graders trickled in to get a few more minutes. Maybe it will come kick off on Saturday. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a lot of the first graders are being given the weekend off.
Is that Fainu that I can see on the bench there, guys?
Yeah, Sienna Fainu is on the bench as well. Matamua is at lock. Ruart hooker. Who else? The keeper got Tristan Riley in the centres too. So a few names to watch there that hopefully will come up. The cup team struggled the last couple of weeks. We'll see a few players going back up to first grade to cover injuries. So fingers crossed they can get it done. Jersey flag. So even Talon De Silva, he hasn't been named in either side. So you think they would have given him more of a run this weekend, but his name's not popped up in.
I guess they don't want to risk him injuring himself if he doesn't have to play, especially if he's going to be in the club's midterm plans while Appy's out.
Keep him on.
Yeah, but you also want football again under his legs. I know it's a catch-22, I guess. Brandon Chumas, he's in flag at the moment, so he's obviously played first grade already. So yeah, go and support the lower grade boys on Saturday afternoon at Lickham Oval, and can sit in the Tommy Radonicus stand while you're there. I might try and get the young bloke out for a sausage sandwich. That's how I get him, convince him to go to the footy, the sausage sandwich. So Rob Stradamus, what have you got for us this weekend?
Yeah, I've gone in early, guys. This is the first game of the weekend. I love the way the Warriors are playing, so I think doing a same game multi, putting them to wins, not much chop, but you do sports bet, you get one leg wrong, you get your money back up to $50. DWZ, Dallin Watini-Zalesniak, he will score a try, and for a bit of value, I've thrown in the second rower, Niokore. He's a really strong runner, and I think he's due for a try as well. So they're two anytime try scorers with a Warriors win, and I think that's a pretty decent bet this week.
Sure, bro. Right on to our tips for the rest of the game. So 7 games this week. We've all tipped the Warriors for the first game. Who are they usually say they're playing against?
St. George.
Against the poor old Dragons.
Can they win by more than 20? So we
move
away from last again.
Yeah, jump
it
up.
Depends on the weather in New Zealand. Is it going to be damp or is it going to be dry?
It's Dragons' home game, isn't it?
Is it a Dragons' home game?
Yeah, it's Dragons' home game.
Oh, so it's over here. Even better.
So yeah, throw the ball around. It's in Wollongong.
Oh, there you go. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, Friday night footy is in Wollongong. Dolphins v Para on Saturday afternoon at Sunshine Coast Stadium. We've all gone the Eels. Obviously, you would think Moses will back up in this one. Yeah, the Dolphins.
Dolphins are going well.
Outsiders.
I thought that was a hard game to pick, but yeah, Eels with a little bit of confidence, not too much. I mean, the Dolphins are a big chance of winning. Wayne Bennett will get them up.
The Finns' depth is being tested as well, so I think they're struggling a little bit at the moment. So I think the Eels will jump on the back of a good win against Manly and repeat the dose, because the Eels are in the top 8 for the first time this season now. So,
my bet of the week might be get on the Knights with a start. What's their start this week? Because I've heard that their Origin players are all possibly going to be rested. So the line's 10.5 for the Knights at the moment. I reckon that's good value. That's my bet of the week. Get on the Knights for the 10.5 start. And I've tipped the Knights to win in an upset, because obviously no Cleary, and definitely no Cleary. And so fair few players from last night. I've heard that they're going to give him the week off. Luai's already hinted that he's not going to work. So,
yeah,
but as
depends who plays.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you wait for that to put your bet on, gamble responsibly, the market will change straight away. So, like when a few years ago, when it was Origin week, we were playing the Panthers. As soon as the Origin team was announced, I went on and threw money on us to win over the Panthers, and you literally saw the price. It's like I lost like $2, because it went from like $9 down to whatever. Such outsiders. You could see the price going down. So next game, Storm v Manly down in Melbourne. We've all gone. Tommy Turbo gone for this season with the pec injury, apparently. We've all gone Storm in this one. $4.50 outsiders. Manly, are they any chance? Big rivalry, this one.
Big rivalry, but I don't think so. I think the Storm are playing pretty well, and Harry Grant's finally back to that form that we all know he's good for, because I think he's been down most of this year till the last couple of weeks. So, yeah. And, we'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty sure the Storm will get up quite comfortably.
Southern Queensland Derby, Broncos Titans, 2:00 Sunday Arvo. We've all gone Broncos. They're pretty heavy favourites in this one. Are the Titans any chance?
Well, they've just lost their coach, so how are they going to react to that? Will they play better or play worse? So, no, I don't know. I mean, you'd think the Broncos would get up, but again, it could go. The Titans could put up a good showing. Bit of a local derby there, obviously.
I feel bad for the coach too. Apparently, he was a bit blindsided by the whole thing, and is pretty pissed off at the moment. So
it caught me off guard when I saw it pop up today.
Yeah, apparently he got sacked because they only beat the Tigers by 16. It wasn't good enough.
It's not often. Yeah, after getting sacked after a win. Yeah,
after a win. Yeah,
a win and a bye. That, like, he literally said that I've been sacked after a win.
Yeah.
Rabbitohs Cowboys at Homebush on Sunday afternoon. We've all gone Rabbitohs in this one. Hopefully the Cowboys, 6-day turnaround before they play against us. So he's hoping it goes to Golden Point and they pull up a bit.
Another 88-minute game.
Cowboys $3.10 in this one. So we'll see if the Rabbitohs play. I mean, it's a fair distance between Wednesday and Sunday. You'd think all their Origin players will be sweet for this one.
Yeah, still no Latrell for South, but I think they'll be too strong.
Roosters, last game of the round. Roosters on Sunday night at home. 2 games in Sydney. Back-to-back games in Sydney. Sunday Arvo. So Roosters $1.60 favourites against the Raiders. You've gone the Raiders in an upset, Rob.
I really couldn't pick this game. I mean, the Roosters are pretty awful lately, although they did guts out a win against the Knights last time I watched after losing Keary to a suspected broken jaw, which turns out it wasn't broken. But look, the Raiders were pretty poor too, but I don't know. I just thought I'll take a stab at Canberra. I'm not having a bet on the game or anything, so my tips don't really matter.
Anything to add on that one, Az?
Not really. I thought this was the toughest game to tip. And yeah, the Roosters are in pretty poor form, but they are coming off a gutsy win. Raiders, they've been up and down. Like they started really down, then they got up and got on a bit of a run. But in what was a game that they should have won. Did they play last week? Did they? I don't think they played last week. If that's the case, then yeah, in their last
they
game,
haven't played since the 300th game for Croker.
Yeah, I don't know why they. Like, I thought they would have gotten up for that game. So I'm pretty down on the Raiders at the moment. So that's why I've gone the Roosters.
If I can just interject, guys, the New South Wales girls are going to win this game, but they won't win the series.
Oh, they scored on the buzzer. Yeah,
they scored on the buzzer with a penalty try for the Queensland girl sticking out her boot, a la Billy Slater. So the girl, like our girl, was going to ground it, and she stuck the boot out, and obviously didn't score the right way. But we've got about 15 to go. We've got about 15 seconds to get a converted try to get that 9-point plus margin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's
right.
It's a stupid 2-game series. They need to win on aggregate.
Yeah, dumb.
What a stupid idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I originally thought what they would do is if the series ended up as a 1-1 draw, then the current holder would keep it. So but
that's what used to happen with Origin draws. Yeah,
but that's just as bad. That's what they used to do at Bledisloe Cup as well in the Union. It's just such a freaking dumb move. Like you have best out of 3, otherwise it's not worth playing.
Like Queensland are going to lose this match, but still win the series, and what a weird bloody feeling that's going to be.
Yeah, they won't care. They'll be happy. But this last play is going to be interesting.
We could just have a 2-man sack race until a winner can be crowned. But basketball reference for those who didn't get that. On to Patreon as I get the Discord open. What do they got? The boys. There are a few. The boys are on a hotline that's typing furiously. Some long questions this one, but Jay Danger Ross, nice quick one. We've kind of already talked about Blake Austin and Aiden Caesar. Can we get them up to NRL season for 6 and 7? We kind of already hit that accidentally already, Jay. But anything else to add on that, boys?
Both knows if that's what the question alludes. So I don't want either of them.
Joey Lulash. My God, Joey, all right, deep breaths. This is a big one. Where do we go as a club from here? We have no half sign for next season in what is another sign at the front office. Have no idea what they are doing. We put all our eggs in the Mitchell Moses basket, and he played like a fiddle, like many players do with the West Tigers. After our biggest win of the season, and what was the biggest win in club's history, points-wise, we let go of our best player last year in Joffa, and someone who was a massive... Joey, have you just reviewed the West Tigers season in this question?
The podcast on its own, isn't it?
Yeah, the massive club culture. We also did Parafave for no apparent reason. We also told others they're free to go, which basically killed our season. I've tried to remain calm, positive vlog, but I can with Pasco and Lee at the helm. The hope that I have for the future is very bleak. One has no knowledge about football. If you can't tell, I'm breezing through this, trying to find the question amongst it. For the last 6 to 7 years, all I've heard about is building towards the next year after finishing last year. With no half. Okay, here's the question: with no half sign for next year, no good ones in the market, what do we have to look forward to? We supposedly have so much money to spend and no one to spend it on. If you're a player who's off contract, why would you want to come to the Tigers when even someone like Joffa slams the club for how they handled his exit? Sorry for the long rant. Just needed to vent my frustrations and what is another disappointing season. Look, I really breezed over that. Sorry, Joey, but if you want to join the Patreon, you can read Joey's article in the Discord there.
And Baxter's follow-up article.
And Baxter's got a big one after this as well. I'll breeze through that one as well. But basically, on the Joffa thing, I mean, Joffa, that was embarrassing. He's got a point. I mean, Joffa, the fact that Joffa didn't want to leave at the same time shows me there is good camaraderie amongst the players as well, that he didn't want to leave the team. I don't know. I feel like the West Tigers are more enticing. You get the play of Appy Coruscant. Like, there are signs there that if someone wants to come to a club and be part of a team that, and it's hard to say we're on the up when we're still on the bottom of the table, but we've got Dream Buller coming through. We've got Talented Silver coming through. I don't know. I think we're more enticing than a Dragons. And you're obviously going to get a good pay packet because we can afford it. I wouldn't say the Tigers are a place necessarily at the moment people don't want to come. There's just not really anyone out there that we need. Would you agree with that, boys?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like I said the other night, we've got the nucleus of a good team, but it's just going to be, attracting a good half or good halves. As to how long we've got to wait, I don't know, guys. I'm getting a bit over it. Some weeks I'm all positive and feeling happy about things, but who knows, guys? We're going to finish last again this year. I think. I don't see a way out of it given the Appy injury. I don't see how many games we win and the halves problem. So yeah, it's just another year. We've just got to sit back and watch and there's nothing wrong with doing it, but we've got to try and believe what they're saying. We've got to try and believe that things will be better, but we're not getting the proof of it, are we?
Az, anything to add?
Yeah, no, that sums it up pretty well. I hope we don't get the spoon. Like, I still feel like we're battling the Dragons and potentially the Dogs for it as well. We've got a game against the Dragons. I don't think Appy will be back in time for that one, but that one probably could end up being the spoon decider. So who knows? We'll have to wait to see when we get to that one. But yeah, in the meantime, there is a great team there, or the part of a great team there. We've just got to get it all together, get some attacking footy on the board, and like once we start scoring points, like we showed what we could do against the Cowboys. Once we can do that a bit more regularly, even if it's like 24, 30 points most weeks, then we'll start winning considerably more games.
Baxter's is a little bit of a rant here. It's not too much of a question, but he's talking about management. Just saying, I find it disheartening that we have Lee and Justin steering the ship poorly. Every decision seems to lack conviction, thought, and common sense. I mean, the Hastings thing is literally their fault. Holy shit, the worst part is their lack of taking responsibility. Every single report, story from the players, managers tells you they make the football decisions, yet they constantly lie to our fan base and say they don't. So it's not even really a lack of taking responsibility. It's straight up lying and just to save their own ass when the decision inevitably blows up in their face. For me, all their actions seem sneaky, distrustful, and arrogant. So I can never connect with them and thus feel a huge... Again, this wasn't written by us. This was definitely Baxter in the Discord. But in all seriousness, Rob, I know we've got a reputation for having a crack at management, but do you agree with what Baxter's saying there? Do you see any improvement from management this year? Because he's right, there's some decisions that that's just absolutely baffling from this club still going on.
I think the decision making has changed since we lost our first 7 rounds. So if he's going back to what Baxter said about, losing Hastings, that's on Sheens, that's on Benji and whoever, all the coaches. If they said they didn't want him there, that's on the coaches. But as we've discussed over the last couple of years, who employed those people? So it does fall back on management. If Sheens and Benji have made the wrong decision there and management have employed Sheens and Benji to do the job, then they're all to blame. So if you hire the wrong people to do the wrong job and they get it wrong, management has to wear the blame. And that's where I think it's changed after 7 rounds or so. I'm not saying so much in terms of Benji, but I think to a degree, upper management have realised Sheens is past it. Sheens has made some bad calls. He's promised the world, delivered an Atlas. We're going to see this style that no one's going to recognise this year and all the whispers, they're coming out of the club, get on the Tigers to make the 8, get on the Tigers to make the 8. We're going to be a different team this year. And we achieved nothing early in the season. So they've gone behind pretty much Sheens' back and got Scott Fulton. They've got rid of, McDonald. So they're obviously making some changes now. But yeah, it falls on everyone there. But definitely the management can't wash their hands of it. But that's the problem with not having an upper management that don't have too much footy savvy, because all Pascoe, Hadji Pentelis and the rest of the board they're only going to trust whatever Sheens and Marshall say to them, which is fair enough because they're the football brains. If Marshall and Sheens tell them Hastings isn't the right halfback, then they've got to accept that. Where if someone had a bit of a brain there and said, being part of this club for 10 or 15 years and said, we haven't had a freaking game manager since Scott Prince. We've finally got someone who's not Scott Prince, but he does a 7 out of 10 job at that. And then we just release him stupidly. Then and don't give me the reasons about he doesn't get on with Bateman or he doesn't do this or he doesn't do that. That's if the player's demanding I'm not going to come to the club because I don't get on with someone, don't get that player. I don't care who he is. So yeah, I think everything does fall back on management, but at the same time, I think management are trying to. They're actually going above and beyond now because they realise Sheens isn't the answer and they've gone the wrong tack there. But they also know that they've only got another year left of Sheens, and they've actually blocked a path for Sheens to go back to director of football because Sheens has absolutely screwed this club up since he came back. I mean, the whole witch hunt with Madge, we came last year, which was disgraceful way to finish the year, and it looks like we're heading to last. We had all that hoo-ha about the internal review at the end of 2021. Did we have one at the end of last year by any chance? The one that was meant to get done every year? Did we hear anything about that? So I just, it doesn't get. I don't get anywhere with this Lee Justin shit because a bit like the rest of the thing, they're not going to quit. They're just going to stay there no matter what, and they're just going to keep making excuses every year. We just got to hope we get some results on the board.
Anything to add to that, Az?
Not really.
Sorry, guys.
No.
I don't even have to think. It just like fucking the shit flows out naturally when I talk about those blokes. Fucking hate them with a passion, man. They've ruined my enjoyment. And you know what? When we play the Cowboys, like normally you watch a game, you get excited, whatever. Who gives a fuck if we beat the Cowboys? We can't make the 8 anymore. Our season's fucking over. And like this is just rubbish that we keep having to put up with this shit every year, and they were raving on how bad 9th, 11th, 13th was. Try being 16th and now 17th. It's just not fair for our fans, man. I can't get excited about playing the Cowboys next week. Who gives a fuck? I don't even want to watch the game, to be honest.
It's funny that the one season where the Spoon team literally cannot say it can't get worse from here is the year that we win the Spoon, and we're a chance of going back to back and going from 16th to 17th. Yeah. Just our luck, eh?
Steve-O also asked, who would you guys chase as a halfback? Look, everyone opened up for questions this week, and everyone just wants to know who can be our halfback. And it's just, it'll take one signing, and I think our hopes, one good signing. It might go the other way.
It has to be Ben Hunt,
a Cogger or something.
It has to be Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt is the best player that, even though he's on contract, he's made it clear he wants out. If he wants out, we've got to sell our soul to get him, because really that's where we're at now. It's just beyond desperation. So and hopefully they're trying to do something about it.
Righto, our next episode will be Tuesday night. We'll only have one episode next week to preview. Obviously, the bye this week, so no game review next week. We'll go live Tuesday night to preview West Tigers v Cowboys, because on Wednesday, not to brag, but I'm flying to Fiji for a family holiday. That's why I got Jareem Bulla up on the screen there, our Fijian fullback. So I will take the microphone and laptop with me to Fiji, so we will record episodes following the game against the Cowboys and a preview for the Sharks the following week, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
So we will have regular episodes, 2 episodes the following week. review and preview. Whether or not I'll be drunk on cocktails remains to be seen, but we will record it. There probably won't be a live show because I'm not expecting the best of Wi-Fi, and I'd hate to go live on dodgy Fijian hotel, not dodgy hotel, in the okay, it's a good hotel. I'm just expecting somewhat enough Wi-Fi that I can hear the boys and we can.
You'd
record
also be
some
3
audio.
hours ahead of us as well, wouldn't you? So it'd be 11:30 at night.
3 or 2? Well, it doesn't matter when you're on holidays, but
3-ish.
Is it 3? Hang on, let me. Fiji.
I think
We
it's
expect you to find the next Lottie Takiri, Josh, while you're over there as well.
I'll go find during
Do some scouting.
2 hours
2 hours,
Yeah,
same
2
as
hours.
New Zealand then. Okay. Still,
Yeah.
10:30 for a live is a bit late for you.
No,
Yeah,
no lights,
on
guys.
holidays. I'll be, like I said, there might be a few beers in that night. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So we will speak to you on Tuesday night. I'll still be in Australia and sober for that one. But who knows? Probably have my board shorts ready to go. I'll be definitely rocking some Denver Nuggets jerseys for that week in the nice warm weather. So
Leave the Tigers ones at home.
I'll take a Tigers training singlet for the gym or something. So Jason D, get on the carver. Maybe
Take your Blore run out tee with you.
my blow. Oh yeah. I'll
We
wear it to
almost
dinner.
got through an episode without an NBA reference. Almost.
My team have won a championship. You're going to hear about it till probably next June. So
That's
Rob's
okay.
just a
Get
little bit
used to it.
salty because his team lost a
No,
game.
not
of
at all.
7.
Not at all.
and
Better
traded
than
away
talking about the last place Tigers. That's all.
and traded away Marcus Smart today too. It's
What
all
did we do?
died. You traded away Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, your management's the Celtics management's very West Tigers at the moment, but
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Smart was in peak form, so yeah.
yeah,
Bit of a
I
doff-
couldn't
bit
believe
of a
it.
doffer move there.
I laughed when I read it, but
Some other team gets to benefit on his peak
Look,
form.
everyone needs a unicorn to beat Jokic, so you got the Audi version of Jokic. Righto.
Yeah. All right,
It's
boys.
that time of the night to say good night to Big Dog. As always, boys, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter and facebook.com/WestsLife Pod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.